What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Wizards Outlook. Joined by, as always, we got Cardo Dudley Jr. here, Raymond Lyons. I'm Wilson Tarpe Jr. And the Wizards beat the Pistons tonight, 120 to 99. They changed the score from the time that I tweeted it. It went from 119, I think it was 118 and 98 to 120 and 99. That's the final score. That said, Cardo, I want to get your thoughts on the Rays on Washington doing something simple, like beating the team you should beat.
Yeah, they just put the team away that, like you said, they just put the team away that they should be, man. It was a balanced attack on offense and defensively, they were a lot more solid, and they didn't hurt themselves with the turnovers, man. They kept the turnovers down, and a big credit needs to go to Will Barton. When Bill went out with the back tightness, Will Barton stepped up, point guard duty, scoring the ball, and he was just phenomenal, man. It was just flawless basketball from what we saw from him, man. Just coming in off the bench, and not just he didn't have a lot of assists, but what he did was he set things up for the hockey pass that led to the assists, and then that's when Washington were able not only to provide a little cushion and at times get up by dang near 20, but they stayed out in front. They weren't threatened or whatnot. He had 16 points, 4 assists, 2 rebounds, but 1 turnover in 29 minutes, and he was 6 and 9 from the field. 4-6 and deep. You can't ask for a much better performance. And Rui Hachimura comes shipping in off the bench, 10 points, 4 rebounds in 27 minutes. That's 26 off your bench alone. Then Gafford, 9 and 5. DeLon Wright, he was on his way to possibly getting double-digit scoring. Had his hamstring pulled up. Kuzma, for like the first half, he was struggling a little bit from the field, and he got it going. And that, like I said, Will Barton setting him up. He was getting stops, they was getting out running, and he was finding them, and he got a few buckets in transition, and then the basket got big to him. And at one point, what was he like 3 for 9? He was far below his efficiency level. Finished the game 9 to 17 with that, man. So it don't take much. And that's with him going 0 for 5 from the from 3-point range. And then free throw line 7 to 8. That's one thing the Wizards have, so far kind of struggled with. They were 22 or 26. So they got better at that. Porzingis, I feel like he obviously coming in, he had the advantage. The Pistons, they're young. They got a lot of bruises, athleticism, my friend, but they're small. They're not that tall. And he 20 and 7, 8 to 13. That's how it should be. Heck, he really should have had 30, but the way the Wizards were killing and stuff like that when he was out the game, was no need to put him in. Plus, he got in foul trouble. And then Brad Beal, the way he came back from the back tightness, where he could have chilled. He could have been like, we got the game in the bag, I'm cool. Came back in. Not only was he leading, with the way he was scoring, taking charges on that bag, going in there, rebounding, 13, 6, and 4 in 22 minutes. So had he played his regular amount of minutes, it would have been a big game for him. They did what they should do, but it kind of shows you, like what we talked about during the preseason, the depth and the overall balance within his team, where if somebody don't got it, you have a couple other players that can step in and provide production. Whereas the last couple years, if Bill certain players didn't have it, it was trouble. They had to have it, and that's just something. That's one of those good problems. Marlon the Wise say, man, that's what they got a lot of good problems. You know what I mean? They kept the turnovers down. They rebounded. They've been punishing teams in the paint with the scoring. You know what I mean? If they just maintain just keeping the turnovers low, not beating themselves, hitting the free throws, the offense already been taking care of itself. Offensive rebounding, taking care of that, not letting teams kill them on the offensive boards. You're going to see a lot more W's coming that way, man. But, all in all, good sign, especially with the schedule about to get real. And then, the next week or so. So, yeah, you had to handle business tonight. And, I know the next game is against the Pacers here at home on Friday. You need to handle business there because you got some heavyweights coming in. So, all in all, man, just a good team win.
Right.
Yeah, man, this is how I expect them to perform against teams like this. Beat the teams you should beat. You can't ask for too much more than that. Another thing I like is Will Barton and Kuzma being vocal, about holding themselves accountable. Will Barton addressed the lack of bench production in the last game against Cleveland. And then Kuzma at the end of the game, he flat out said, I didn't play well, I got punked. And he responded, on the court tonight. So, that's just right there is a different mentality than what we've seen from this team in the past. And then Cardell pointing out Bill coming back in, that's like little things like that. Guys are going to respond, and him as the leader to come back and do that, it sets a tone, and that's the type of stuff you need if you want to, build a winning culture. They true, this is a game they should have won. They should have won, but this is not. The Wizards aren't in a position to, just chalk up wins on the board, man. This is a game where you build habits. You establish something. This is building blocks. They're not one of the top teams in the league. Just being perfectly honest, they're building something here. So you gotta come in and take every game seriously. That's what they did, man. And they just had a winning formula. They defended, limited turnovers, made free throws, rebounded. You do that, you're gonna win most of the games. So yeah, man, it's really not too much to say, man. The bench showed up. The starters did what they did. Porzingis, like Cardell pointed out, man, he took it to the smaller team, which he should do. He just has to maintain that production or something close to it when when teams got a little more size and they need him to be, a little more aggressive and be that guy for them. So yeah, man, it's a good game. They took care of business. You really can't say too much about it.
All right, you guys are very efficient with the words tonight. Let's keep that up. Player of the game.
Well, for me, it's Will Barton.
Right.
Yeah, man, like because what he was able to do, that things could have went south when Bill went out, and he came in and gave him that lift and that spark, and that's what he should do as a veteran player at this point, So yeah, I give him a nod.
X factor for the night. Ray, we'll start with you and then Cardell.
I go Kuz, man, for what he was able to do in the second half. He turned it up, and he led the way and kind of stretching the game out, putting his team away.
Cardell.
I'm gonna go a different direction. I'm gonna give it to Denny. He locked up Cade for most of the game, and he cut the head off the snake. This has never really gotten the rhythm now. They're feisty, they're young, they're inexperienced. So they fall back. They didn't really go away. The Wizards had to put them away, which is a good sign for their team. But all in all, Cade never really got going. And that was because Denny was just hounding them, 94 feet. When they came with traps, he was hounding them. He just made that boy work. You know what I'm saying? And that's why he was 7 to 19. With 3 turnovers, and you saw his body language. He felt that, and he was a lot of that, and just deflating looks. You know what I mean? So if your point guard got that, the guy you looking to, it's tough for everybody else to get going.
All right, we're going to get through some of these comments as we always do. Appreciate you all who tuned in. Obviously, we appreciate the comments as always. And Cardell, to your point, Danny was somebody that Dwayne Casey touched on during his post-game comments with the media, talked about the job he did defending Cade. He also talked about some of the veteran additions, like in terms of the difference between the Pistons and the Wizards. Will Barton was highlighted by Dwayne Casey as well. He was asked about DeLon Wright, who he's coached before. And he, you guys will see this later, but he's talked about the strengths of DeLon's game and what it does to mess up teams on that end of the floor. So again, the things that we've talked about is being echoed by, Dwayne Casey saw that tonight. That said, we're going to try to get through some of these comments. Maya, as always, appreciate you. 15 minutes left for the best of the show. On the net, appreciate you. Shay Mandler, good game. Good effort on defense, lots of positive things. Barton gearing up. Danny, another solid performance on defense. Nice to see Gaff having okay tonight. Let's hope and pray Wright is okay, for sure.
Yeah,
definitely. Right, they'll just touch on what's coming to this building, or is on the schedule very soon. DeLon Wright. It's kind of sort of a necessity at this moment. You kind of want him around. A little bit better with the turnover, sloppy possessions, plays too. Things that both you guys touched on already. This win was good for the overall team confidence. She put her bid in for play of the game. She talked about maybe Barton X Factor, maybe Kuz. Both of those guys ended up on the list tonight. Morris had a solid game too. Denny and Gaff were good performances. I think everyone here would agree. Like to see others on the floor, area 11C. Like to see others on the floor getting involved offensively, and like seeing West try out some different lineups tonight.
I think when Bill went out, he didn't have any choice. And when Porzingis got in foul trouble, he had to get free.
I was going to say some of that was because of necessity tonight, but still, it's good. It's a long season. Who knows? You might stumble back across one of these lineups on another night when things just aren't going right. Biggie Steve, I loved how we kept them under 100 and beat them by over 20. Great defensive game. Biggie Steve, I know you can see Cardell nodding his head. Ray is also nodding his head. You know, anything from a defensive standpoint is always a positive. Great content, like always, folks. We appreciate you guys. Truly do. Last one, awesome content, top-notch basketball knowledge and analysis. Finest magazine indeed, for sure. We appreciate y'all. We appreciate y'all a lot. We'll see y'all Thursday after the Pacers game. And obviously, you guys already know what it is. Any away game, come hang out with us in the Focus TV playback room. We have a good time. We're all going to watch the game anyway. Might as well do it together. Y'all have a great evening. Enjoy the next day. And we'll be back for Wizards Pacers Friday night.